Thanks to the organizing committee for giving me opportunity to speak on emergency situations during hair transplant and how to avoid them. Hair transplant surgery is a safe outpatient day surgery. Emergencies are uncommon but can appear suddenly. Many of the emergencies, but not all, are preventable through attentive preoperative and intraoperative care. Clinic doctors and support staff must be prepared to manage the emergencies. Mortalities are uncommon but may happen. So, potential medical conditions which may convert into life threatening emergencies during hair transplant are medications like lidocaine toxicity, drug interactions, oversedation, anaphylactic shock, hypotension, cardiovascular events, pulmonary disorders, seizures, stroke, coagulation disorders, or accidental injury or fall. To avoid any unwanted event, thorough pre-op preparation must be done. So we must take history in detail of all existing condition as they may increase risk with the surgery. If patient is taking any medication, inquire in detail to avoid any drug interaction during surgery. History of allergy, past surgical history, especially with the reactions with the local anesthetic, then pre-op investigations to rule out any existing disease, and obtaining a medical clearance from the primary treating physician is always advisable before surgery. And it is also advisable to have an IV access in all patients. Xylocaine sensitivity test must be done. It is safe to keep anesthetist in cases of elderly patient and patients with comorbidities. Proper recognition of signs and symptoms of emergencies and be ready to manage. Vasovagal syndrome is the most common emergency during surgery and it is precipitated by pain, sight of blood, fear, anxiety, etc. and is due to reflex stimulation of ANS leading to bradycardia and hypotension resulting into decreased blood flow to the brain and fainting, and it can be prevented by giving preoperative sedation, keeping environmental friendly and keep talking to the patient. We all know about the symptoms. It is dizziness, sweating, blurred vision, turning pale, nauseating, and patient may faint. So management, as soon as signs and symptoms are noted, terminate the procedure, place patient in supine position with legs slightly raised, monitor vital signs, and if bradycardia persists, give injection atropine. Some patients may need IV fluid and if no response, then start BLS. Second is anaphylaxis. Again, it is a serious condition that comes on quickly and has potential to become life-threatening. Symptoms may appear within minutes up to 2 hours after exposure to allergen. Steroid and phentermine, if given during surgery, they may mask primary anaphylactic reaction and may invite fatal emergencies if biphasic reaction occur. Signs and symptoms: swelling of lip, tongue, throat, weak rapid pulse, severe stomach pain, dizziness, and in advanced cases, severe respiratory distress and cardiovascular collapse. Diagnosis: anaphylaxis is highly likely when acute onset of illness with involvement of skin, mucosal tissue, or both, and at least one of the following, like respiratory compromise or reduced blood pressure. So remove exposure to the trigger, assess circulation, airway, breathing, mental status, skin and body weight, promptly and simultaneously call for help. Inject epinephrine intramuscularly on mid-anterolateral aspect of the thigh in dose of 0.01 mg per kilogram of 1 in 1000 solution to a maximum of 0.5 mg. When indicated and any time during the episode, give oxygen, isotonic saline and prepare to initiate CPR. If reactions are sustained, the patient must be transferred to the hospital by ambulance as quickly as possible. If we see any sign or symptom of the allergy during the procedure that gets controlled by itself or by treatment, such patients should be kept under observation for minimum of 8 to 48 hours, as anaphylaxis may be biphasic, appearing to resolve only to return, and on discharge prescribe EpiPen, corticosteroid and antihistaminics. Oversedation with injectable sedatives. So there may be difficulty to arouse slowed respiration and respiratory arrest and cardiopulmonary arrest in advanced cases. So it is not necessary to use injectable sedatives, and if they are used, then they must be used in minimal doses. Oral sedation and local anesthesia are adequate. So in such cases, pulse oximetry and cardiac monitoring should be in place. Resuscitation equipment should be easily assessed, and antidote must be given as per the sedatives. For meperidine, it is naloxone, and for benzodiazepines, flumazenil. Now, overdose toxicity from local anesthetic. It may appear due to accidental rapid intravenous injection, rapid absorption, failure to monitor doses, and a perception that lidocaine is relatively safe. Increased susceptibility in patients with significant comorbidities and drug interactions. So, avoid any bolus injection without aspiration, particularly in areas close to scalp arteries. And epinephrine in concentration of 5 microgram per ml, that is 1 in 200,000 solution, along with local anesthetic, will significantly reduce the peak blood level of lidocaine regardless of site of administration. In hair restoration surgery, local anesthesia is given in stages over a few hours, not all at once. So beware of total safe dose and of potential combined toxicity. Maintain an anesthesia log. Symptoms of local anesthesia toxicity are slurred speech, altered central nervous system, muscle twitching and seizures. So stop infiltration of anesthetic agent, start IV lipids, and if seizures, give IV sedatives. In advanced stages, activate EMS and start with BLS. Now hypertension with bradycardia. It is due to drug interaction of epinephrine with non-selective beta blocker, which may lead to hypertensive crisis, and is due to unopposed action of alpha receptors on vascular smooth muscles, leading to peripheral vasoconstriction. So treat it as emergency, stop the surgery, stop local anesthesia, sedation, and give sublingual nifedipine. Hypertension with tachycardia. In these cases, stop adrenaline use, give sedation, sublingual nifedipine, and if not controlled, shift to the hospital. Hypoglycemia may be because of overdose of hypoglycemic agent, quinine, or excessive alcohol. So it presents as an irregular or fast heartbeat, fatigue, pale skin, anxiety, sweating, hunger, irritability, and in advanced cases, convulsions may appear. So give oral glucose and if needed IV glucose, and the hypoglycemic dose adjustment is important. Hypovolemia may be because of pre-operative poor hydration and insufficient fluid intake during surgery, inability to control bleeding in FUT, adrenaline tachyphylaxis, continuous oozing without surgeon's attention. So treatment is head low position, IV fluid and control of bleeding. Seizures may be because of hypoglycemia, anesthetic toxicity and patients with history of convulsions. Maintain respiratory airways, prevent injury to the patient, give diazepam and treat the cause, shift to hospital if required. Cardiovascular event may be in the form of angina or myocardial infarction, and in advanced cases, arrhythmias may appear. So as soon as symptoms are noted, suspend the procedure, assess vital sign, establish IVSS, administer 1 tablet of 325 mg of aspirin and 1 tablet of nitroglycerin sublingual. Activate emergency response system and start CPR. Arrange transfer to hospital for evaluation. Treat rhythm disturbances as indicated by ACLS protocol. In any of the emergency, if procedure is incomplete, then preserve tissue in advanced holding solution for possible completion once patient is stabilized. So whatever may be the cause, Most immediate concern in an unresponsive patient is to prevent brain anoxia due to either lack of respiration or circulation. So training in BLS is must. Paste a chart with BLS protocol in operating room. Ensure the availability of all emergency medicines. Equipments must be ready. For activating EMS, contact number of hospital and ambulance should be easily available to OT and receptionist staff. Recommended training for staff in hair restoration surgery. For doctors, minimum basic life support, preferably advanced cardiac life support. For OT staff, they shall have done BLS training or experience of working in operating room or intensive care unit. Training and rehearsing the OT staff in emergency protocol is very important. Develop team approach. Emergency drugs and resuscitative equipments should be handy and should know how to do CPR and artificial breathing. In the rare event of unexpected serious developments during or immediately after a hair transplant surgery, an arrangement should exist with a nearby hospital for transfer of the patient. Thank you.